This is your friendly neighborhood atheist.
You know, Steve, I love my intro, but I think I need a new one. I think it's time.
I don't know. I really love it, and I really miss Band-Aid, so I think keeping Band-Aid on there would be the thing to do.
Yeah, I guess I can't get rid of Band-Aid. Anyway, I didn't do an introduction. Hey, everyone, welcome back to an episode of Ask an Atheist. I didn't even play the correct intro, but my guest for tonight is Steve. Steve, how are you today?
I'm doing okay. Yeah, I mean, I can't complain because no one listens, right?
I listen. I pay attention.
Okay,
even
though I'm in the right place.
People don't think I pay attention to stuff. I vehemently pay attention to people's Facebooks and their posts and what they're up to.
Absolutely. And I know that about you because actually I'm a big fan of yours, and I discovered
I don't know why.
Well, and people say that I'm kind of like an uglier, fatter version of you, so that's
what are you talking about? Thank you, but no.
But no, I've been a fan of yours for 5 or 6 years. Like when I first started with recovering from religion in 2020 is when I found out about you, and that's I think when you were starting to do content. So I kind of got in near the beginning there. I was watching you and Martin and stuff online, so that was really cool.
Yeah, Martin was one of my very beginning guests.
Yeah, for sure. So that was really cool to be
and
watching you back then.
You just reminded me, recovering from religion. Speaking of which, I need to put this in my will. This is what I want when I die, and then we'll get to you. I have to share this. When I die, I want everyone to wear a streaming shirt, like goofy shirts like I normally wear.
Yeah.
I want it to be a celebration, and I want it to be a fundraiser for recovering from religion.
Ooh.
Don't waste money on expensive stuff for me. Put me in a cardboard box, but I want it to be a fundraiser for a good cause.
Well, you know what? If Daryl hears that, he'll be here in a second. His ears are probably ringing right now.
So, anyways,
that's awesome.
Steve, you're an atheist. Why are you an atheist? Tell me.
That is a really good question. I always say that it was kind of a circular journey, but I guess it was more of like a squiggly circular journey because I was raised as a freethinker. So my mom did all the best things. She did all the best practices for raising freethinkers without reading the book because the book wasn't written at the time. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with Dale McGowan.
I am not.
Okay, so he's an author. He wrote a book called Parenting Beyond Belief, and he has a secondary book called Raising Freethinkers, and he has a podcast called Raising Freethinkers. So he's an amazing resource for people who are in the secular community or even in an interfaith relationship like I'm in, to be able to look into how to raise kids in a world that is inherently religious, but also to keep that free thinking mind. So he did a really good job with that. So my mom didn't have the luxury of reading that book, but she did follow the 9 best practices that he kind of lays out in that book. And one of them is kind of like leaving kids unlabeled. So instead of saying he's a Christian child or he's an atheist child or something like that, right? Just leave them completely unlabeled. Because if you put a label on somebody, they're not going to know what that is, right? So trying to live up to that label, they don't know what it is. So they're not going to be able to explain what it is that they believe in and why. So I had that luxury growing up. I was baptized Anglican. I grew up in Canada. I'm still in Canada. I grew up in a little small town, but my small town was kind of cool. It was like a melting pot for different religions and cultures and things like that. So we had like a family that was even Shinto, like Japanese.
Wait, Shinto? Religious. That sounds so familiar, but I can't remember what that is. Yeah,
it's like a Japanese religion. And it's kind of like the ancestors and stuff like that, right? Like kind of like samurai. Okay. So it's really neat. So I would actually go over to a friend's house and he would like tell me stories about like his religion and stuff. So I was just like super interested. And looking back on it now, I would consider myself back then to be what I consider an atheist. I don't know if you've ever heard that term before.
No, I've not heard that term before.
Okay. So yeah, it's like a mix of apathy and atheist, right? So it's kind of like an atheist. So it's like, I didn't really care about religion. It wasn't really a thing for me, right?
Okay.
But I was really interested in why people believed what they believed. So I kind of had that from a young age, and I was able to kind of go to different churches. And yeah, it was really cool being able to go with friends to like synagogues. And I think at 14, I went to a mosque. Just really cool
what was
experiences. That like? It was unreal. It was like you felt like
in a good way or in a bad way.
At the time, I think I was kind of like intimidated. But looking back, I was like, oh, it's a really cool experience. I'm glad I was able to do that. Because nowadays I actually get invited to do things like interfaith symposiums and it's usually hosted by like Muslim groups. So it's kind of cool that I already have the
cool.
background in that. Yeah, it's really neat. And we've covered several topics. One of them was whether or not it was like God, fact, or fiction, and I like the title, but at the same time, it seems a little bit more controversial. So I was like, I really want to take this from a nuanced position.
Okay.
I want to come in as like the angry atheist or some type of atheist. Hey, like, you know what? There's no God, whatever, right? So I kind of wanted to say, this is what I believe, or this is what I don't believe as an atheist, but this is what I do believe as a secular humanist. And then also, but I'm also open to hearing, your perspective. So it was kind of a really cool conversation, and that was recorded. It's actually online. If anyone can find my YouTube channel, I posted it on there as well. So.
Oh my God, I totally failed. I need that so I can add it to this video description.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
that is a failure on my part, Steve.
No worries. You know what? It is really short. It's like I don't have very much on there, and most of it is like a playlist of different shows that I've been on that are not my shows.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So, and this is actually on there as a placeholder for the show that's happening right now. So we're kind of living in the Matrix, I think. But it looks like Helen's here. Hey, Helen, how's it going?
Yes. Hi, Helen.
Awesome.
Good to see you. Are you going to NanoCon?
I'm not this year. I was last year.
Dude.
I know. I really wanted to. Last year, I actually got to do a talk there, so I was really pumped to do that, and it was awesome. Ooh. And one of your former guests, Secular Rarity, was there, so got to hang out with him. And
I can't wait. I want to meet him so bad.
Yeah, he's
like, we've been working
awesome
together
guy.
for like 5 years now at this point.
I know. I actually
want to meet him. I want to give him the biggest hug.
Yeah,
just be around him.
Yeah, and Helen's presenting this year at NanoCon. So there we go.
Yeah, Helen just said that. Dude, yeah. I'm presenting. That is awesome. I'm jealous. I never get invited to be a speaker.
Oh man,
only once. I'm jealous. Everyone else is so much cooler than me.
That's what I always think about myself too. I'm like, everyone else is so much cooler. They get all the invites and stuff. But
right?
Yeah. But no, it was really cool. And it was actually kind of last minute because I was there, and then Patrick, one of the organizers, he's like, "Hey, you want to do a talk?" And I'm like, "Sure, yeah, I can throw something together." So I literally threw something together and did it, and it was based on the book that I wrote. But it was really cool. It was a really great experience. And so I can't go this year, but there are a few things I am able to go to, like the World Humanist Congress. I'm not sure if you're aware of that or what that is.
I'm not.
Okay, so Humanist International and Humanist Canada have kind of come together to put on this giant conference of humanists from all over the world. So there's like different days, and it's over the August 7th weekend. So there's going to be like different talks and different presenters. It's in Ottawa, in Ontario. Ooh, so it's about 10 to 12 hours from me. You and I only live about 4 hours from each other, so we should probably just hang out sometime.
I'm down.
Yeah.
If you ever come to Chicago, I got a big comfy couch for you to crash on. You're more than welcome to.
Well, I have a shelter bed that's as I am a emotional support Canadian. So in case anyone needs to duck out of the States for any reason, you can come stay on my
I may take you up on that.
So, but you might have to fight some others because there's some other people. I think Helen's one of them that I'm also an emotional support Canadian for. So
there is a lot of reasons to leave America. I hate to say that because, I will say there are great reasons to stay in America. But the more I learn, the more annoyed and disturbed I get by America. Like, I don't understand how people can stand behind this man as president. And I don't know if you're familiar with this, but there are Canadians who are like Trump fans, like big Trump fans.
They call them MAGA Maple, I think.
Really? Oh, I didn't know there was a term for it. I don't get it. There was this person on my Facebook. I eventually decided I had to part ways. I always try and stay friendly. I always want to be civil. I will deal with those extreme people. But I just got so angry when she said that gay people don't deserve the right to adopt. That it just, I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't. And I feel bad. I feel like that goes against like what I stand for. But it just made me so mad.
Yeah.
Hearing someone say that.
Yeah, no, you're totally justified in that. I mean, it's so hard to be like we are bridge builders. We're trying to be there for people to kind of provide a safe landing for people as they're coming out of either an extreme religion or an extreme like political ideology or something like that, right? So it's like we want to be there to be a buffer for this person if they come across the aisle. But the problem that we kind of run into, and I get a lot of pushback on this too, because people think that I'm being too kind or too generous, too friendly. Yeah, and it's like I'm not being a doormat. I'm not saying like, hey, just free for all, do whatever you want, right? There are hard lines, and we know where those lines are. It's just really hard to express what those lines are when people can't really see inside of our brain, right? So and it's
excellent point.
And we have to take like kind of a nuanced position on it, because it's like, okay, what level of harm are we willing to accept before we say, okay, this is it, or before we actually step in and say, okay, now you need some help, right?
Right.
Yeah. So.
And I try to always give people the benefit of doubt. Like because to me, I want to expose them to new information. Yeah. Even if I don't always engage with them, I want them to see my posts. I want to get them to think. And the simple fact that once in a great while, I'll have an extremist message me and be like, you made me think about this. It's like, oh my God, I'm getting someone thinking. And that is like, that gives me all the motivation in the world to keep going and to keep trying. It's just so hard when someone is so extreme. It's really hard. And like you said, you don't want to be a doormat, but at the same time, some of us need to be these bridge builders. Some of us need to take the brunt end of it and do our best to get these people to open their minds.
Right. Like we need to be a sheepdog because, there's a flock of sheep that we're kind of like taking care of. And you know what? We're going to get bit by the wolves as we're coming in. Oh, yeah. But we need to be able to kind of deflect that and be able to take those sheep in and take them under our wing when it's necessary. Right. So,
exactly. Because like for me, I don't, let's talk about your political background in a moment. But for me, I was a right-wing extremist.
I remember you saying that before. Yeah.
My mind was changed. So to me, I have that belief or that faith that, other people's minds can be changed too. But with that being said, politically, where have you been throughout your life, if you don't mind my asking?
Yeah, that's also a good question. So in Canada, it's a little bit different, right? Like we don't really have the extremes that you guys have. Oh, hey, Cindy.
Cindy, I miss you. Oh, this is the first time I've seen you in one of my chats in forever.
I was going to say, Cindy was probably one of like your original fans. I remember seeing Cindy back in the day. Like
Cindy was one of the first people to reach out to me and spend hours and hours on the phone with me, educating me on trans topics.
Right.
I adore Cindy. She's been a longtime supporter of this channel. She is an amazing person.
And more importantly, she has me as a friend on Facebook. So there we go.
I'm lucky to have her as a friend.
There we go. Yeah. So no, thanks so much for being here, Cindy. That's awesome. Oh, Helen says that Cindy and Helen play D&D together. So that's
really
cool. That's awesome. Oh, my cat's trying to get in the door here.
Oh, so. Can we see the kitty?
Maybe. Yeah. Let me see if I can find her.
While we're waiting to see the kitty, anyone, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'm sure the people watching are already subscribers, but if you're not, please subscribe. Yay, kitty!
So this is Izzy.
Hi, Izzy.
She was a rescue. She was only I think 18 months or something when I first got her, and we actually went to the animal shelter here in Windsor, Ontario, where I live, and it was actually in a PetSmart that she was there in a cage. And my son, who was, I think he was sick and was home from school or something, and we ended up just going there to see the kitties and stuff. And she was reaching her paws through the cage at him. And he's like, oh, Dad, can we just take her home? And I'm like, oh, man, like I'm going to get in so much trouble. But and then anyway, one thing led to another, and we ended up with Izzy. And we've had her now for like 3 years, I believe. Yeah,
she is so cute.
Yeah, and then every year for we have this big thing in our small town called the yard sale, and my son will set up like a lemonade stand, and all the money he raises from that goes to the animal shelter. And last year he raised $70, and then this year he raised $80. So
good for him. That's awesome.
Oh, actually, it was 100 because it was 100 this year. So yeah, he donated that, and then got his picture in the paper and all that stuff too. So it's really
wow.
Cool.
I wish I was that good of a human being at that age. That's truly incredible.
I know.
It sounds like you are a great parent doing a great job.
trying to prepare the next generation for the world that we have to live in. So
Cindy PLAZA said, I'm reading your book at the moment, Steve.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Thanks, Cindy. Yeah, it's actually behind me right here on the poster up there.
I can't, hang on, let me, I forgot how to zoom in on this.
Oh, that's okay. You know what? I actually have it on my cup too. I'm like a walking billboard here.
But there you go. That works.
Yeah. Humanism from the Heart, Building Bridges Beyond Belief. I
am actually working on writing a book right now.
Awesome. Yeah. If you need any pointers,
I will definitely ask you. I'm going to write the intro and I'm going to write 2 chapters and then I'm going to see if anyone's interested in reading it. And if they are, I just want feedback. Like, yeah, hey, You're onto something. Keep going. Or no, this is fucking stupid. Don't keep writing. Please stop. Just so I know if it's worth it or not. And I'd rather people be honest. Like, no, this is a pretty bad book. So I will definitely reach out to you for tips.
Well, and actually, I went through that experience because when I first was putting the book together, it was actually started off as a blog because I was doing it in pieces on excommunications on Medium, which is actually the Recovering from Religions blog. So, and I was writing little snippets about my life because I'm married to a Christian and we're raising kids in an interfaith household. So people were
talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we can. We definitely can. But so no problem. So I was posting these snippets of my life up on the blog, and everyone's like, "Oh, I love this. I want more. I want more." And then somebody said, "Maybe you should put it into a book." So I'm like, "Yeah, that's a great idea," because everyone in my family before me has wanted to write a book and never did. So I'm like, that would be really cool. So I just literally grabbed everything down off of Medium, put it together, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to put this book out." And then a friend of mine reached out on Facebook and said, "Hey, you don't know who I am because I'm using a pen name, but I'm someone from your past, and I'm actually a pretty big author in the States. So I'm wondering if you want me to edit your book for free." And I'm like, "Yeah, like free."
Wow.
Yeah. Like normally it'd be like $200 or $300 or something like that for someone to just go through it even once, I think. So she worked with me. She was like, "Oh yeah, like I read it and it's okay. Like, you got some really good heartfelt things here, some funny things here, but it's not meshing. Like you need to go back to the drawing board and come up with a theme or something that's going to run through the whole thing." And I'm like, "Oh man, like, okay, maybe I won't do this." And I just kind of shelved everything and just left it.
Okay.
And I'm like, you know what, I'll just leave it up there as a blog. And then one day I was doing a podcast for the Humanist Canada podcast, which is called The Voice of Canadian Humanism. Okay. And they wanted me to come up with this segment for bridge building and stuff that like I've been working on, doing presentations and stuff on. And I'm like, well, it's kind of from the heart. So maybe humanism from the heart. I'm like, no, wait a minute. Don't use that. I'm going to use that for my book. That's a good book title. So I put that title down on the page, and then I'm like looking at it and I'm like, what is it I'm trying to accomplish with this book? Well, I'm kind of building bridges, and it's also beyond belief. I'm going to go with the beyond belief theme, and it kind of the alliteration worked. So I'm like, perfect. There we go. I got the title. And then at that point, it's like, okay, now I'm like taking pieces from the blogs, and I'm writing new things, and I'm throwing things out, and I'm putting things in, and it just really meshed because I finally got the title. And at that point, I handed it back to the editor, and she was like, "Yeah, you nailed it. Like, this is something really good to put out in the world." I'm like, "Okay, sweet."
That had to be such a good feeling to hear that.
It was really good. But then when I was shopping it around, this is another thing that people don't tell you, is that when you shop it around, a lot of publishers and stuff, they want to change your work, right? Like they don't want you to
really.
Yeah. So what I found is that when they wanted me to be more harsh towards religion, and I'm like, that's not the point of the book. The point of the book is actually to be a bridge for people to walk across to like kind of share or like have those shared values as opposed to the things that divide us. So they wanted me to change the title to make it harsher. They wanted me to change the content. And it was just like, wow, you know what? Never mind. I'm just going to do this myself. And I ended up publishing it on Amazon by myself. So it was really cool. And then a friend of mine who has their own publishing house, which is just out of their house. It's called Clifton Summit, and they're in Cleveland. And they've written a couple books together as a couple. And they ended up just saying, "Hey, you know what? Just throw our name on there too." So I put Clifton Summit on there. So like that way I can have like kind of an official publishing house on there as well. So it's something official, and it looks presentable and professional, right? So that worked out really well, and that's what happened.
So, how after you get it published, how does it go about? How do I ask this question? I guess selling it. Do you just promote links on Amazon? Like how do you get the book made?
Yeah. So that would be maybe behind the scenes stuff. We can talk about that because it's a bit of a process. But basically, when you publish it out there, you have an ISBN, which is like your international serial number for your book.
Right.
So when books get printed, they have that serial number on it so that they can track it, right? So when Amazon, when someone purchases a book from Amazon, they actually print it at the Amazon factory. And
really?
They put it together and all that stuff, and then they send it out to that person. So when I order author copies, it takes quite a long time because the people that are purchasing books from the actual site itself, they're going to get priority printing. So like it takes a long time for you to get your own copies. But if someone was to go and like order it today, it would be printed for them and like usually available within 2 days.
Oh,
so they don't have to keep stock on the shelf or anything. It literally just gets printed when it gets ordered.
Wow.
Yeah. So then if you want to, what I did is I took like author copies, which I pay a smaller portion of the price for. But I did keep my book price really low because I do want just to get the message out there. It's not really to make money. So what I did was I take the copies that I own and I bring them to stores and say, hey, can you put this on your shelf? And usually they'll give me like a side eye, like, what is this about? Right. And I'm like, well, I'm an atheist. I'm married to a Christian, and this is how I'm living my life and getting along with people and finding common ground. And they're just like, okay, that sounds kind of cool. And then usually they'll put it on the shelf. So you kind of had to like hand deliver to the places. And I actually had a book launch at one of the local bookstores here, and she's been like my biggest supporter. And I think I had like 80 some people like the very first day come, and it was awesome. It was like people coming in like a revolving door. So it was amazing. Yeah, it was absolutely incredible.
That's incredible. That makes me so happy for you.
Yeah, and people were coming over from like Michigan and everything to come and talk to me. So that was really cool.
Oh, that's awesome. So the two things I want to talk to you about most is building bridges. I just bit my tongue. Ooh. And interfaith relationships.
Sure.
So why do you think building bridges is important? And what does that mean to you?
Yeah, that's a heavy one, because I think today's world with this whole thing about empathy being a bad thing, right? Like this whole toxic empathy people are talking about. And it's like, oh, you can't be empathetic to people because then they'll just walk all over you and blah, blah, blah. And I think that empathy is actually the most important thing that we need. And I think that and I've talked to Secular Rarity about this because we had a chat. And I think that the Four Horsemen did a really good job of getting people riled up and kind of got the ball rolling on, atheism being in the mainstream, and like, don't be shy, be who you are, and that type of thing. Right. And that really inspired me. But I think we need to move past that and get past like the vitriol and the anger and stuff, and get to the point where we can now reach a hand out and bring people up that are going through these angry bouts or just, being frustrated, and rightly so, because a lot of times they have been abused and there's trauma and stuff like that as well. Right.
Absolutely.
So being able to reach to those people and say, hey, guess what? There's a brighter side of this. And then also reaching across the divide to say, hey, guess what? Even though you believe in the supernatural, there's probably more things that we have in common than we don't. And that's the one thing I discovered with my own family. Like my wife and I, we agree on like 99% of things. We just disagree on like the smallest thing ever, which is where the universe came from. And I like to say that because really, if you think about it, nobody knows where it came from, or if it even came from anywhere. It could have always existed. So why argue about that stuff, right? Like focus on the here and now. How are we going to feed our family? How are we going to, have a roof over our head? Like that kind of thing, right? So I think that the biggest thing that we need to do is we need to find where we can share that common ground and those shared values with people so that they can understand that, like, hey, guess what? This other person is a human just like me. And we need to work together to survive, just like we did through, our evolutionary, rise, basically, our shared values and the social contract that we have with each other. And I think that the world is shifting away from that. We need to bring it back. We need to like tie a lasso and just, toss it around the neck of that and just pull it back in. I think that's what we need to do with bridge building. So that's kind of my take on it anyway.
I like that. And I think it's really important that we do that. And I think the community needs more people like you, Steve. Like, I don't know you that well, but already love what you're saying. And I think community building is really important, especially like with people who disagree with us. You know, it may be hard, it may be rough, but if we can work together and find common ground, I think we can accomplish a lot more. And I'm sure some people will say I'm ignorant for thinking that way, but I just believe we can work together.
Yeah. And you know, like we're on the same page. And I think that that's, you know, one of those things that we share that exact thing. That's something that I've noticed with you for years, right? That you've always had this like ability to reach across the table and talk to like a Christian apologist, you know what I mean? And find some type of common ground. And I've modeled a lot of my, you know, conversations around people like you and people like,
seriously?
Yeah. And people like Anthony.
I'm not smart. I don't know why you're listening to me.
You were one of the first people when I first started with Recovering from Religion in 2020, because I was volunteering. I started volunteering with them then. You were one of the first people that I was watching have these conversations, and I'm like, wow, like you're able to have these conversations and not get to the point where it's heated, right? And I think that that's the biggest thing. Is like I always try and visualize it as like a thermostat on the wall. You want to keep it at a comfortable temperature. Yes. So that things don't boil over, but they also don't get too cold, right? So it's like I feel like you were one of the first people that I was able to witness that you were able to keep the temperature right at the right level all the way across. You know, you and Anthony Magabosco. Anthony,
love Anthony.
Oh yeah, he's amazing. I met him at NanoCon last year, and I
want to meet him so bad.
He is like the nicest human, and he wrote the intro to my book, like the foreword.
Really?
So, yeah. So because him and I, when I was originally having issues in my interfaith relationship before when I went through an angry atheist phase, I was reaching out to him like, hey man, help me. Like, I don't know how to build these bridges that I've been burning. Right. And he really helped me through that personally. He was actually reaching out to me through like Messenger and stuff. We talked for years.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, it was amazing. So eventually
he puts in the work behind the scenes. Like that's what people don't know is he behind the scenes, he puts in the work hardcore.
Yeah. I'm just gonna let the cat out of the room here 1 second.
Oh yeah, that's fine. But yeah, I mean, if I could keep it civil with a Psi 10 brewing cake, I think I could keep it friendly with anyone.
Oh, I know. That's the thing. I did have a podcast with an apologist recently too.
Oh, and, okay. How'd that go?
It went pretty well. It's called the Irrational Podcast. And the guest that I had on there with me, so there's a host, Kurt Parks, he's the host of it. And then he had a Christian apologist named Mike Hiscock, and then myself. Okay. And I really wanted to keep it on shared values. Like that was my whole shtick. I was like really trying to keep it back to, you know, like, okay, cool. I like all these stories and it's cool. The history is really neat, but like, let's bring it back to like the here and now. Like, how can we help, you know, the people that are next door to us and stuff like that. And I got him to kind of agree to that for the most part anyway. So it's a really interesting conversation if you want to check it out. It's about 90 minutes long, but it does go in a really positive direction, which is, you know, very surprising. But again, I was channeling you and I was channeling Anthony, and then Dale McGowan, the guy that I mentioned at the very beginning that wrote those books, because he also wrote a book called In Faith and in Doubt, which is about interfaith relationships. And he followed like 100 different couples or something, and it was all people with different interfaith relationships and stuff. And he followed them through like a series of years to see like where they're at and how they had conversations and what conversations work best. And then he came up with like some tools on like how to help interfaith relationships. Like one of them is making a word cloud. So like going to a word cloud website and just typing in words that you and your spouse share, or your partner or your friend, whoever you want to have build this cloud with, and just type in words that mean something to you in your relationship. And it's like this giant amalgamation of words that are all the things that you have in common, right? Or all the things that your goals are and what you should focus on. And then another thing was, he said to, if you have a religious spouse or partner, have a chart, which is the positives of being in an interfaith relationship and the negatives, or the benefits and like the disadvantages, right? And one of the things that we discovered when we were going through this is one of our positives that we both thought was a positive was that our kids get exposure to different worldviews. So it gives them the ability to be kind of a free thinker, to be able to say, oh, wow, okay, mom thinks this and dad thinks this. I'm not sure if there's a God. I'm going to go ask mom. Mom, do you think there's a God? Yeah, I think there's a God. But you should go ask your dad what he thinks. Oh, okay, cool. Dad, do you think there's a God? No, I don't really think there's a God, but I just don't see any sufficient evidence to believe that. But your mom believes that, or your grandma believes that. So why don't you go and ask them? So it's just being able to do that is a really cool thing within our family. And I've seen a lot of other people apply these methods as well and be able to achieve that too. And one of the things that she said was a negative, my wife said was a negative, was that she didn't feel like she could be as much of a Christian as she wanted to, or she felt like she needed to be. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, now that I know that, how can I facilitate this? What is it that I can do to be more open to, allowing you to be more of a Christian, or whatever it is that you want to do?
Sweet. That's
yeah.
really
So it's cool to be able to see that type of thing. And, she said, well, I want to be able to go to church once in a while. I want to be able to take the kids to church once in a while. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely do that. There's no problem in that. And I'll even go with you once in a while, so that kind of thing. It's really cool.
So let me ask you this. Would you rather your children be atheists because you're an atheist, or would you rather your children be Christian because they chose to be a Christian?
Yeah, that's a really good, hard question too, because I don't know if you can choose what you believe.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah, no,
it's not the best.
Okay. Like if they were convinced of Christianity,
that's what I meant to say.
Yeah. Sorry, I just.
No. I appreciate you correcting me. That's
no problem. So I think raising them in the environment that we're raising them in, to be free thinkers and to evaluate different situations, and to lead with empathy and compassion and scientific investigation and all that, right? So if they were to eventually take on the moniker of something like Christian, I think that they would be like the most progressive, most like open and honest version of Christianity, whatever that happens to be, right? Because of the values that we're instilling in them. We're kind of teaching them like how to think, not what to think. So I think if they ever get to the point where they're like, oh yeah, I consider myself to be a Christian, I'm like, okay, well, what do you mean by Christian? right? Because at that point, it's like, what values do you have that are specifically Christian, right? Like my wife considers herself right now to be a Christian humanist. And so
I like that.
Yeah. And I get a lot of pushback on this because I allow people to use that label, not just as a secular humanist, but you can be a Christian humanist. You can be
absolutely
a Muslim humanist or something, right? It's just whatever you place your highest emphasis on, right? If you're placing your highest emphasis and your values on compassion, empathy, human dignity, scientific investigation, like I definitely can consider you to be a humanist, right? Just depends on, if you're putting that over your religious dogma, then absolutely. Oh, it looks like Otangelo is here.
I wasn't even going to bring up the question, but since you brought up Otangelo, I will let you answer this. Steve, how is non-intelligence as superior creator than a conscious mind?
Oh, I don't even know if I really understand. Is there a way that you can reword that, Otangelo?
Yeah,
someone else can help me here.
I'm glad it wasn't just me. I didn't really get what he was trying to ask.
Yeah.
So Otangelo, if you
like maybe he's asking about also,
thank you, Otangelo. I hope you are doing well as well. It's been a long time. I hope life is treating you good.
And you know what, Otangelo? I've been watching you for years too, so this is like a fanboy moment for me.
So you talk about an interfaith relationship. Could you have an interpolitical relationship?
That's a really good question too. Sorry, you're hitting me with all these good questions. I think so. And I think the hard part is, so what I'm focusing on for my next book. So my next book is actually going to be called Humanism at Hand. It's going to be practical principles for peaceful partnerships. So it's going to be like the actual hands-on, like how can you make these things happen? Okay. And the one thing that I'm focusing on now that I've kind of created, I hope I've created it and I haven't pulled it out of somewhere else, but what I've been talking about on my presentations and stuff, and trademark, I'm going to trademark it just in case, is the three mutuals, or the mutual triangle as I call it. So the very first one is mutual understanding. So if you can use the Socratic method, like straight epistemology or something, to get to the heart of why somebody believes what they believe, then you can understand where they're coming from, right?
Yes.
So if you can understand, like, okay, this person, believes in a deity because they want to see their cousin in the afterlife or something like that, right? I'm like, oh, okay, I totally understand where you're coming from. And if someone understands where we're coming from, where it's like, you don't believe in a deity because there doesn't seem to be sufficient evidence for you to warrant belief in that deity. Okay, cool. Now we're at a mutual understanding, because the key word being mutual, right? So we have to kind of understand each other. So that's the first step. The second step in that triangle would be the mutual acceptance. So you can understand where someone's coming from, but it doesn't mean that you accept it, right? So I can accept, okay, you definitely want to see your cousin in the afterlife. I can totally accept that and appreciate that, right? And if they can say, I completely accept why you don't believe that there's a deity out there. Cool, we're at that second step. The third and final one, which is the most difficult one to just get in the door in a relationship, is mutual respect.
Yeah.
So you have to actually be able to respect the person, and not necessarily the belief or the politics, right? But like being able to respect the person for their humanness, right? Their human dignity, their humanity, right? So I feel like those are the basic things that we need to just be able to get in the door of having a relationship with somebody. And once we get in that door, then pretty much anything's possible, right? If you can respect the person. Now, there's the big caveat, which is do not cause harm, right? So if someone's causing harm to themselves, harm to themselves or harm to others, that's where you have to draw the line, right? But if someone's political ideology is, I think so-and-so is a good leader because they are standing up for what I believe in when it comes to, I'm trying to think of an example. Like human rights. Okay. So it's like, okay, cool. I understand and I accept and I respect you for believing that, and then it's like, on the other side, it's like, well, I respect this person because they're putting more money in my paycheck. Even if that's not a true statement, but that's a belief that they have,
right? I
can still understand, accept, and respect them for that. Right. So it just depends on what the outcome of that belief is, right? When it comes to that, because again, we want to avoid the harm. And if we can have enough things in common with the person and the fewest things possible that we disagree on, then I think that it is possible to have an interpolitical relationship, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that does. I wanted to touch on what you said earlier about choosing what you believe. So I agree with you. You cannot choose what you believe. Every couple months, I get together with my two Christian friends, and we have what we call guys' night. We make some wings, and we just talk politics and religion all night. Right. Politics, we're on the same page. Religion, we're not. One of them is in the middle between me and the other guy on choosing what you believe or not. The other one says you can choose what you believe. Now, I have tried every example under the sun, and I have not seemingly been able to get through to him that you can't choose what you believe. Any suggestions or thoughts on how I could maybe better approach this and possibly get them to understand that you can't choose what you believe?
Yeah, that's a head scratcher, because the other thing too is that you can't convince someone to believe something if they are not willing to accept that answer or information. Right. And we can cause the backfire effect by going too far and sharing too much facts or too much information about something that's going to push someone to dig in their heels further. The one thing that I've kind of used over the years is actually from David C. Smalley way back in the day, where he would say that, why don't you go to the edge of a building, close your eyes, and choose to think that you can fly off of this building. Right?
Ooh, I like that one.
Because like you just can't choose to do that, right? You can say that you believe it, but do you actually believe it, right? And that's kind of the heart of the matter.
Well, tell me if you think I'm wrong. This is an example I used, and I said, all right, I want you to pretend you're cooking a pizza right now, and then when the pizza's done, it's in a 450-degree oven. I want you to convince yourself and choose to believe that the pan is cold, not hot, and pull it out. They said they could choose to believe that. And I was just, I was a little flabbergasted, because I'm like.
Then I think that you can maybe say, could you be wrong in that instance?
Like, yeah, I guess I should have said that.
I mean, I guess it's kind of like I don't know. That's a hard one. Cindy is just saying here that you need to understand the basics of psychology to understand why you don't choose your beliefs.
Yeah, so, I mean that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I don't understand the basics of psychology, but I do kind of understand, why you can't choose. Just because it's not a conscious choice. Like, I don't think you're either convinced or you're not, right? It's like you're convinced of a proposition, or you just find that the proposition is lacking evidence.
Exactly.
So I'm not sure. Maybe I do understand the basics of psychology and I didn't even know it. I did take a psychology class once, and the professor, it was all on video. The professor was this young man on video, and he was explaining all these things and everything like that. And all of a sudden, this old man with a cane walks in, and he starts like, "That's me up on the screen there." And I'm like, "Holy crap! When was this video filmed?" And it just kind of threw me off, because I'm like, "Okay, this is a little strange." But I never really got the concepts, because they did blast you full force on day one. I'm like, "No, I'm dropping this class." So I wish I stuck it out, though, because I think psychology would be a really good major to have. That'd be really cool.
I agree. I have limited formal education on it, but I have studied it a lot. However, I have to interrupt our conversation. I have major beef with Otangelo right now.
Oh, okay.
I cannot believe Otangelo just said this. Otangelo, how can you ground this belief? No, I'm not going to go there.
Okay, so Otangelo, I have to share a secret with you. Pineapple on pizza was actually invented at a restaurant that is about 45 minutes from me.
Wait, really?
And I'm not lying. Yeah. The satellite diner in Chatham, Ontario is where pineapple on a pizza was first used. And yeah, so.
Okay, so
really cool.
I have to blame you people then. And
I'm
saying
you
people. It's your fault that people think pineapple goes on pizza.
Yeah. Man, yeah. Hey, Leslie. Oh, man, it's so nice to see all these people popping in here. This is awesome.
Yeah, you brought in a variety of people. Some I have not seen in quite some time.
Oh, cool. So Leslie is actually a host for the Podcast for Inquiry, which is the Center for Inquiry Canada has a podcast, and he's the host for that. And I'm actually going to see him in Ottawa at the World Humanist Congress, and then hopefully again at BajaCon at the end of August. There's another conference, which is the Blue Water Atheist, Humanist, and Agnostic Conference in Sarnia, Ontario, which brings in big names like Seth Andrews and a whole bunch of people.
Wait, who's Seth Andrews?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. And the funny thing is, when I was doing my audiobook, I recorded my own audiobook, and people started calling me the Timu version of Seth Andrews. So.
The Timu version?
Or Seth Andrews from Wish.
I like that one. Just from Wish. I will say this, Otangelo, if you are ever in Chicagoland, hit me up. I will take you to a real pizza place. One that would not be caught dead putting pineapple on a pizza.
Is that Lou Minolti's?
No. That's like fake Chicago style.
Oh, really? Okay, that's what I was always told was the real one.
No, it's good.
Okay, I'm coming to Chicago then, and you're taking me somewhere good.
I'll take you to a real pizza place.
Because I really like Portillo's for hot dogs. That's like the best
Portillo's
hot dogs.
got great, but no, I'm going to take you to a real hot dog place then too.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'll put you like this. There's two places that are the best known for hot dogs. One is Superdog, and one is Gene and Jude's. They are both like the White Sox and the Cubs.
Okay.
Gene and Jude's will literally have all they serve are fresh cut fries, hot dogs, and tamales, and they have a line around the block.
Oh yeah.
If you ask for ketchup on your hot dog, they will kick you out of the building. No, I'm not joking. They will literally ask you to leave if you ask for ketchup.
Oh man, that's so funny.
And it's people want ketchup so much sometimes that the McDonald's next door started charging 50 cents a ketchup packet because people would go there for ketchup. But it's like, awesome. I'm sorry, ketchup does not go on a fucking hot dog. And that's fighting words.
Okay,
do not touch my hot dog.
We should rename this episode "No Pineapple on Pizza and No Ketchup on Fucking Hot Dog."
That's actually really fucking tempting. No, but there's this place, Oven Grinder. So if you're coming out to Chicago, that's where I'm going to take you.
Okay. Cool.
There's another place that my friend recommended too, which I still want to try, which is known as one of the best. But Oven Grinder, it's just.
Okay.
You have to make reservations like 3 weeks in advance.
Oh wow. Okay, I'll give you a heads up.
That's how good it is. They only accept cash, no card, long wait, and their salad dressing. Oh my God, their salad dressing is so good. All they have is Italian and garlic dressing.
Oh, okay.
And they're both amazing. But one of the things most people do is they combine the dressings together, which makes it even better.
That's
so
awesome.
good.
That's really
so
good.
Yeah, if you come to Chicago, you have a couch to crash on, and I will show you some of the best places to eat.
Awesome. I love it. So is that an invite for the whole family to sleep on the couch, or?
I mean, it's a really big couch. Like, you could probably fit
1.5 kids.
Probably sitting up about 20 people on it, laying down.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, laying down probably 8 people.
It's wow. Okay, well, then, I guess,
it's a massive couch.
I guess yes.
And it's so comfy. So that's, cool. That's a formal invite for the whole family.
Awesome. Yeah, and anytime you come to Canada, I'll definitely show you around and take you
to
some
in
cool
Canada
places.
Are you from?
Windsor. I'm actually south of Detroit. So the song "Don't Stop Believin'" is about me.
Ooh, don't stop! I can't sing.
Yeah, but it's like born and raised in South Detroit. You know that part? Yeah. That's South Detroit is actually Windsor because there is no South Detroit. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're actually south. So I actually have to go north to get into the States. It's really weird.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you a little bit more about your book. Tell me more about it.
So I haven't read it. No, I actually. So that's a joke for people that have read it, because in the very first chapter, there's a guy. I'm wearing a shirt that says "There is no hell, be kind anyway." And he approached me and he just kind of looked at me, and he had this handlebar mustache, and he just kind of looked at me and he was like, "I should just come over there and punch you in the face." And I'm like, "Excuse me? Like, for what?" He's like, "Your shirt, it says there's no hell. I demand an answer for that." And I'm like, "An answer for what? For being kind?" And he's like, "Don't push me, buddy," or whatever the hell he said, right? And I'm like, "Okay, so what does the Bible say about hell?" And he goes, "I don't know. I haven't read it."
Sorry, that took me a second because I was reading Angel's comment.
Oh, okay. So at that point, I'm like, I'm gonna borrow this. So anytime someone asks me about my book, I'm just gonna say, "I don't know. I haven't read it." Okay. So the book is basically, I would say, an anecdote of or a series of anecdotes about my life, about things that have happened to me when I've come into contact with religion. It kind of starts off by saying, like going through the whole history of kind of what I told you, but it goes a little bit more in depth into, how I was an atheist and then became, I tried to dabble in different things. Like at one point I thought the ancient, the Greek gods were real, and I'm like, Zeus hit me with lightning and that type of thing. Yeah. So just kind of like, conspiratorial thinking and things like that, just different things throughout my life. I'm like, I'll try this hat on, or I'll try this hat on, and nothing ever really stuck, and I wasn't really serious about a lot of it. And then when I met my wife, I don't know if you know about the Masonic Lodge, like the Freemasons.
Oh, I'm familiar with the Freemasons.
Yeah, so I joined the Freemasons as a promise to my grandfather, and they bring you.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean.
Oh no, what were you gonna say?
I'm not sure if I'm mixing up the Freemasons with the what's the other one? I forgot the other one. Are they more pro-white, if you catch my meaning?
No. This is
and I'm thinking of the is it the Illuminati I'm thinking of?
I'm not sure.
Okay. You know
this
what?
Is like, this is it's kind of like a brotherhood, I guess, but it was like, it's more like you know what, now that you're bringing this up, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's like a fraternity, I guess, of like older gentlemen, usually white gentlemen, but I mean, I don't think there was anything really to do with that. It was just that it happened to be like a club for old white guys, basically. And it's very religious, but it doesn't come across that way. But they do say you do have to believe in a higher power to get in. So, and my grandfather was like a master Mason. So I was like, okay, when he passed away, I'm like, I really want to join this Masonic Lodge someday. And so they said, you have to believe in a higher power. And I'm like, I guess when I walk under power lines, I guess there's a higher power than myself. I don't know. And thinking back now, I should have said, well, humanity is higher than me. Right. So anyway, they welcomed me in, And this is all, you can Google this stuff. So I'm not giving away any secrets that aren't out there in the world. But basically they put a blindfold, like a cowl or whatever they call it, over your face, and you walk in and they put a sword to your chest and they say, how do you come? And someone whispers in your ear, in peace. So you say, in peace, and they drop the sword and they bring you through, and they kneel you down at this altar and they say, who do you put your trust in? And someone whispers in your ear, in God. So I'm like, in God, with a question mark? And they're like, yeah, you know, he's in and whatever. And it's a neat organization because all of their stories and all of their levels to get through things are all biblical stories. So I was able to learn the Bible in a visual play in front of me. So that was really cool. And I was able to move up through a couple of the levels. And at the same time I was going through this, I met my wife, and she was a Christian. So I'm like, oh, well, maybe there's something to this, because, you know, I'm part of this organization. She's a Christian. She's going to this church, and this church is affiliated with the Masonic Lodge. And I'm like, so maybe there's something to this. And I would go with my wife to, well, at the time, my girlfriend, to like church and stuff, right? And then we would go, when we would come visit her family down in this area, we would go to her family's church. So just really, it was like kind of, it led to that. So then at that point, I was like pretending and trying to be a Christian, right? Like I just, and this is part of the reason why I know you can't choose what you believe. Because if I could have chosen to be a Christian, I would have chosen that, right? I would have been like, oh, I'm fully invested in this and whatever, right? So, because I put in my all, I pulled out all the stops. So our wedding was very religious, and then her family, you know, at the reception, her parents said, well, we're so glad she met a man who believes the exact same thing she does. I'm like, oh, shoot, because I don't. So I felt like a wolf in sheep's clothing at that point. Lashing out at people, and that's where I became like a very angry atheist. So that's kind of the intro of the book, as it kind of goes through that story about how that happened. Kind of dumbing it down a little bit because I didn't want to share too many of the actual personal details of my story, because it's going to be out there in the world, and my wife wasn't going to be really that comfortable with it. So a lot of these things that I say, some of the elements aren't in the book, but you get the gist of the story. And then from there, it kind of goes all throughout my life in different snippets of it, and things that have happened with my kids, and where I was able to impart, you know, wisdom and empathy, like showing them how to be empathetic and things like that, and just watching their natural empathy and compassion in the real world. So lots of stories about my kids, stories about things that I attended when I was younger, like camps and things like that. Like I attended a religious camp with a friend of mine, and we were playing the game Leprechaun. I don't know if you remember the movie Leprechaun with Warwick Davis, the little.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, so we were playing that, and they were telling us we were playing a devil's game. And then we actually had to like sit through a sermon and stuff. And then it was like this whole thing. And then so I said, well, you know what? You should be happy with us because we killed off this demon. And then they were just like, whoa, like they were just like all spazzing out about it. So things like that, like just funny anecdotes and things that have happened through my life. And the core message of it is, you know, we do have a lot of common ground that we can find and cover. And I do mention all the interfaith symposiums that I've been in that book. And, you know, just different things like that. So, and then basically the ending message is don't be a dick.
I like that. Well, you've actually, like, hearing you talk about your book and the approach you're taking has given me a little bit of hope that maybe I might be able to do something similar.
I think you can. I absolutely do think you can. And definitely look out to me for like a blurb or something. I'll definitely write a little blurb for you for the back of the book or for inside the book.
That would be amazing.
So
I'm going to write it, though, very differently than books are written. And it's going to be hard. I don't know how to describe this, but okay, you're on my Facebook, obviously.
Yeah.
Have you noticed how I word posts very differently?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I like to write and how I like to expand on my thoughts. I want it to be written in a way where people are like reading it with the excitement and where I emphasize certain words or the ... exclamation.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to put that in there. And that could be stupid. Maybe
that would be awesome.
Really dumb. But I want to write it like how I talk.
Yeah, I think that would be excellent. And it's like, that's one of those things that I haven't seen out there. So I'm not sure if that would be like a one and done, like one of a kind kind of thing. But that would be a really cool thing. Like if I picked up a book like that, like it's almost like a kid's book, you know what I mean? How it would be like exclamations and big words and things like that. Like that would be really cool. But for adults. So that would be even
right.
Yeah.
And I have so many funny stories that I think I could put in there of situations I get myself into. So I feel like there's a lot. All right. Question from Cindy. Has your wife's belief shifted in the time since you've been married?
I would say yes, because even in the very beginning, like when I first came out as an atheist, and so keep in mind, so we've been together since 2012.
Okay.
In 2014, we got married, and then in 2020 is when I came out as kind of an atheist. Like, I mean, I was kind of an angry atheist. It's a really complicated thing. There was some people that knew that I was an atheist. There were some people that didn't. And 2020 is the year. Sorry. So from 2016, so 2 years or so after our wedding, because I was kind of secret about my disdain for religion at the time for the first few years, and then I was kind of like, things were bubbling up, and I'm like, oh, and I finally exploded in 2016. So from 2016 to 2020, so that 4-year period, I was very angry, and I was vitriolic, and I was tearing everyone's beliefs down, and I was like,
I've been there.
Venom and whatever. And then around 2020 is when I started like looking into like Anthony Magnabosco and you and Dale McGowan and recovering from religion. And then eventually I started volunteering for recovering from religion, because I'm like, now that I've gotten past this angry point where I feel like now I can help other people that were going through that, or find a way to reach out to people who are struggling and that type of thing. So I started volunteering on the helpline and learned a lot about, active listening, and learned a lot about the Socratic method and ways to find common ground and understanding. And it was 2 years before I was able to tell my wife that I was even volunteering for that organization, because the name Recovering from Religion sounds kind of brutal to somebody.
It is. It's kind of abrasive, even though it's not meant that way. It can sound abrasive to. And
I say it's kind of a misnomer, because it's not really like, I mean, there are definitely some harmful aspects of religion that you need to recover from, but not all religion is harmful. So so that's kind of a misnomer, but at the same time, it does get across what it is that they're trying to aim for. And the cool thing about recovering from religion is that they're not there to deconvert anyone. They're literally there to be a shoulder to cry on, right? It's just, we're there to meet you where you're at. If you're still a Christian and you're experiencing, hatred within this certain religion or within your certain church or something like that, we'll help you find another church. It's not like we're saying like, no, you got to leave church or something, right? We're just there to be a sounding board and to provide resources for people who are struggling with issues of doubt and, non-belief. So I would say, to answer Cindy's question, yes, there's definitely been a long period of time where slowly over time I chipped away at kind of the animosity that we had for each other when it came to my vitriolic, angry atheist phase, because I really went through that bad phase, and I really ridiculed her belief in that type of thing. And then I had to rebuild that bridge. So when I rebuilt that bridge, I built it a lot stronger and a lot more able to withhold or to withstand to external pressure, but also pressure from each other within the inside too. So, and that's why I say, like, now she considers herself to be a Christian humanist, where she likes the values and the principles of humanism above the religious dogma, but at the same time wants to hold on to her religious belief. And that's totally understandable, right? I'm using the mutual triangle to find that understanding, that acceptance, and the respect for her as a person. And along with that, when now thinking back and talking about when I first went through this phase, she told me that if she had known I was a non-believer when we first got together, she wouldn't have even given me a second chance. Oh, wow. So now to go from someone somewhere in that position to someone now that's, actively supporting me and saying like, yeah, go on your Friendly Neighborhood Atheist show. You know what I mean? Go and do.
That's awesome. That's really good.
Truth Wanted, Talk Heathen, all these shows. Like, it's, go do this stuff. And she's there supporting me,
I'm so happy for you that you have that.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's really great.
So before we wrap it up, there's 2 comments I want to put on screen, and then I'll let you decide how you'd like to address them. One is from both are from Gesture. Dinosaurs and evolution are hoaxes published by the Freemasons as fact, despite having no concrete evidence as theories. Darwin Carl Sagan, Isaac Newton, Bill Nye, Neil deGrasse Tyson, they're all satanic. And then the second comment, tons of video evidence out there proving the firmament exists and the earth is flat. Any thoughts on that?
I think this is a Poe.
You think what?
I think this is a Poe. I don't think this is. I think this is a troll who's.
Oh, okay.
I don't think this is real.
Spectrum. Sometimes those things go way over my head, and I completely miss it.
No, for sure. No, like all of those things are like the biggest conspiracies you've ever heard, all in one. So I don't.
Yeah, that went over my head. Yeah. All right. So what I do need from you, though, and I forgot to ask you for this.
Oh, wait. Tangelo did ask us that one question, I think.
Oh, crap. Let me go back to that. You're right. How far back is that? Hang on.
No rebuttal. Yeah. I don't really have a rebuttal for a bunch of weird
here we go.
theories that are all meshed together.
Tangelo. In other words, once you remove God from the equation, then you have basically just random events that supposedly led to embodied intelligent minds, us. How is that plausible among an infinite space?
Yeah, that's a really good question, I guess. I mean, I guess this is going to blow your mind, Otangelo. This is going to blow your absolute mind. So you ready for this? I don't know.
That is my favorite answer. People are scared of I don't know. I don't know why they are. It's to me the most intellectually honest position you can hold is saying I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, Jester is saying that we're irrational, and that's fine. Or he's saying I am. So the whole thing about the I don't know thing is that there's no the things that you're mentioning here don't have any bearing on my atheism. Right? Like anything that you just mentioned there with like dinosaurs being hidden in a thing and people being satanic and stuff like that, whatever, it doesn't have any bearing on my atheism. My atheism is just a lack of belief in a deity because there's no sufficient evidence to warrant belief in that deity or any deity, really. If someone was able to provide sufficient evidence, then maybe I would change my mind, but there hasn't been anything, and that's basically the answer to that. So.
All right. So before we wrap it up, I forgot to ask you. I can't believe I missed this question in the beginning. Do you have any supernatural beliefs at all, or do you reject all supernatural beliefs?
Yeah, I mean, so
psychics, mediums, ghosts.
Yeah,
spirits,
like I mean, I've gone through periods of believing those things at different stages of my life, but at this point, I using critical thinking and Occam's razor to say that a natural explanation is probably more plausible than something that is outside of the natural world, because there's nothing that we can do to measure outside of the natural world. So the natural world might be the only thing that we have. I mean, we could all be in the Matrix. We could all be figments of someone else's imagination. Like, I don't know, right? But the only thing that we know for sure is that we're here and that we're experiencing something. So I don't think that there's anything outside the natural world, and I don't know if there's a way to measure anything outside of the natural world. So.
All right, Steve, where can everyone check you out at?
Oh man, Facebook is probably the best place that I normally post all my silliness and stuff. So just my name at Facebook. I have a website, stevegikadis.com, which I try and keep updated with things. You can find links to my book and another book that I contributed to through Humanist Canada called Humanism, Canadian Perspectives, which is kind of cool. And my son actually contributed to that as well. So he has a couple little snippets in there. And yeah, you can find me there. I have a YouTube channel, but it's really limited. There's not much on there at all yet. TikTok, Instagram, pretty much all the socials.
Can you, after we get off this, can you send me your links so I can add them to the description of the video?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Awesome. And before we head out, thank you to all my patrons, especially you, Cindy PLAZA. You are amazing, and you have nonstop supported me for the past 6 years. So thank you so much. Steve, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks so much for having me. It was a chance for me to fanboy out, so that was awesome.
You're making me blush now. I'm Victor Red. Since you brought up Band-Aid, before we close out the video, I am going to play a clip of Band-Aid because I miss that little guy so much. But thank you so much, Steve. And everyone for watching, thank you and have a good night.
Hey, Band-Aid. Are you a good boy now? Yeah, you're a good boy? Say hi. Good boy.